Have you seen those results like this case, or this one, where guys are growing hair with finasteride in less than a year? It's looking thicker, darker, and fuller, and you're asking yourself, what the hell am I doing wrong and why can I get the same results as this guy? And it's because they're called hyper-responders, and you are just under-responder. Not sure if this is a real word actually. But no worries, because you are actually watching Let's Get Hair, and my job here is to get you more hair and actually make sure that you will become a hyper-responder to finasteride. And maybe there is a way you can do it the same way we do it with minoxidil when we add tretinoin, where we add microneedling and other penetration enhancers that make you a better minoxidil responder. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you what were the things that were hindering your finasteride hyper-responsibility, especially if you have been using finasteride for at least a year and a half, and you have not came close to those results that I've shared with you before. Things that you actually should be doing if you want to get that hyper response, because these are going to be the key steps I use personally in order to get from here to here in only 6 months. These are guaranteed to help you because I see them working all the time for our community members as well. Hey, welcome back to the channel once again. Good to see you. My name is Matt, and I've been fighting my hair loss for almost 15 years right now, made several bad mistakes that also cost me several hair transplants because I did not start my hair regrowth journey the right way 15 years ago. But if you want to take the science-backed shortcut to hair regrowth, in the video description there is a link where you can join Get Hair Lab and get better hair, have less stress and more success when regrowing hair. We also go much more in depth on things that you will learn in today's video. So what's the first secret of all of those hyper responders? Based on one of the longest finasteride studies from Japan, it seems that if you are just starting to lose hair from the corners, maybe on the crown, you could be a Norwood 1.5, maybe Norwood 2, Norwood 3. This is the best time to start finasteride in order to be benefiting from potential hyper response. I'm going to later explain to you why, but it's evident on all of the studies that are longer term, as you can see here. On the right, we can see all of those Norwood classes from 1 to 7, and we can see how their hair regrowth beyond first year is just keeps going up to year 5, 6-ish, and then it stabilizes. However, if you are Norwood 4, 5, and higher, your hair regrowth or hair thickening benefits from taking finasteride will rather stall after a year or 2 of taking it. Some guys don't even get those benefits. So if you are watching this video and you have just started noticing hair loss, this is the best time to get on finasteride. Period. If you want to become a hyper responder. Now, the second thing why some people are hyper responders and other people are not would be that hyper responders do not have any underlying issues that might be compromising hair regrowth or sabotaging finasteride effectiveness. Things like heavy stress, taking hair loss triggering medications, scalp infections, hypo or hyperthyroidism, overdosing some supplements like selenium, copper. On the other hand, lack of certain minerals and vitamins like zinc, vitamin D, or autoimmune diseases and conditions that are very tricky nowadays to diagnose, and people are living with them not knowing that they might be having so. So if you have one of these conditions or a combination of them and you don't even know it, they will force more of your anagen hairs to transfer into telogen hairs. Naturally, you should have 85 to 90% anagen hairs at any time on your scalp if you have healthy hair shedding and hair growing cycles. You should have 10% telogen hairs and 5% catagen hairs. By taking finasteride for 48 weeks, we can see that you can get up to 30% of improvements from your telogen hairs into anagen hairs, which is a great number. But people who have some of those underlying conditions, in this case, it doesn't even mean that finasteride works worse for you. It works sufficiently, it just you are not correcting enough problems that might cause hair loss. And although taking finasteride will usually take care of most of the hair loss, that is androgenetic alopecia, it will stabilize your hair loss for most part, unless you are like one of the 10 guys who is a non-responder to finasteride on paper, no matter what you do, and that's what studies suggest. 88% of people do respond to finasteride, whereas 10 to 12 do not, and in such case you need to do dutasteride. But let's assume that you are on paper a responder to finasteride, but you are still not seeing the results. It means that you need to take care of some additional conditions conditions that might be causing more hair loss. Now, another reason why you see those amazing improvements of somebody who got on finasteride and after 6 months he got amazing regrowth, or after 10 months, it's simply because he had a massive shed before starting finasteride, and that shed might not have been related to androgenetic alopecia, but just the telogen effluvium. And then he got on finasteride and he benefited from finasteride's ability to improve the target area hair count, but on top of that, he experienced an automatic recovery from telogen effluvium because he eliminated stress from his life totally. And that's why many people see, like, how could you get so much hair from finasteride? Many people also stop minoxidil because it didn't work. They didn't know how to figure out being a good responder to minoxidil, so they quit forever. And at the same time, they start finasteride because they're like, okay, finasteride is the real thing. It's the long-term hair loss preventative drug, which minoxidil is not. It's just a stimulant. And then, of course, they get the benefits from finasteride in 6 months, but automatically grow more hair from that shock loss that was induced from stopping minoxidil. So they got that hair back after 6 months. And people think that they got it as a result of taking finasteride, but it's not true. There are so many mixed variables that people are not telling you about, because if you watch Reddit, if you watch just a random post, like, they don't give you the whole description and their whole case. And then many people kind of get that false imagination about who an average or above average responder to finasteride is. And then they automatically think that they are under-responding. And I've seen a lot of evidence of this happening anecdotally as well. And the last thing that will decide whether you will become a better responder to finasteride over time, not just in 6 months or 10 months, is whether you are able to tolerate it orally, not topically. And I know in studies, it seems like topical works the same as oral if you observe it for 3 to 6 months. If you just spray it on a small area, 1 square centimeter, as they usually do in studies, you get statistically significant hair regrowth. However, what we are seeing also with topical anti-androgens right now with clascoterone or KX826, which is the pyrolutamide topical anti-androgen, is that they peak for like 6 months, but then they taper off after 6 months. And with that, I want to say that topical finasteride has never been observed in studies for more than like a year plus, unlike oral finasteride. So it's not really optimized for all of those variables, like people maybe not applying it properly over the long run, like not sufficiently onto every square inch of their scalp or square centimeter of the scalp. A lot of topicals may get stuck on hair. Right now, you can see many gels being sold, like finasteride gel, dutasteride topical gels. They get stuck in hair. I've used them. They're trash, unfortunately. A lot of this solution will go to waste. There are so many people who just don't know how to apply those topicals properly. Their scalp is not properly clean. They may have skin irritations. They may have underlying conditions they don't know about. Dermatitis, redness, skin inflammation, itching. And if you have those problems, of course, the topical will not work as good. I certainly experienced it myself. For all of you who have been watching me for at least 2 years know that I started with topical finasteride in 2022 and I used it until the early 2024. I switched from my oral finasteride that I've been using prior to that for years and wanted to know if I can maintain those gains, those benefits from oral finasteride acquired years ago. After 6 months, I didn't see much difference. I felt everything is going great. And that's what studies would confirm too. However, after 12 months, I started to notice degradation. I started losing less thickness, less volume, and all those bad things, which actually forced me to stop it for good after 14 months of this experiment, let's call it. And now I'm back on oral finasteride, of course. And my hair got much, much better also just within 6 months. So if you want to become the best responder to finasteride, hyper responder in the long run, please make sure that you consider all of these things in here. And for all of you guys who are interested in getting more insights, support, and even a consultation with a certified dermatologist throughout your hair regrowth journey, check out the Get a Hair Lab, where this will be possible only in the premium membership. But nonetheless, you get a lot of value and a lot of clarity into your hair regrowth journey and what you should be doing right now for best gains. Thank you so much for watching. Time to get some hair, everybody.